What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Mindful Space. I'm your host, Tyler, joined here with my co-host, Johnny, and my sub-co-host, Alex.
Just to fill in.
We don't really know what to call him, producer.
Fodder.
What?
Call me fodder.
Fodder?
Slowly making his way into
Yeah,
the main
yeah,
stage, bro.
Yeah. Be careful, bro. I'm not the guy getting pushed out.
I know. Started to produce him. Now I'm on the road much
That's
more.
it.
Who's calling that shot?
So
What's going on, fellas?
I don't know. What are we doing here? After we just spent a half hour talking about death.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny blowing stuff up,
Mhm.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Cutting doors off.
cutting doors off.
And the whippersnappers.
And the difference between movies and real life.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know what's funny when he said whippersnapper, though?
Yeah.
You always think of that old man, you young whippersnappers,
Yeah.
you know? But that's what they were called back in the day, right? It was
I
the...
guess.
Yeah,
No.
man. So it's the three of us. What's going on? How was your week?
My week.
Yeah. Well, we've been away.
out of
You know, I
town,
was at a
yeah.
conference. You were at a conference. You know, you were working.
Well, let's start there. Let's
Yeah,
start there.
please.
Right,
Go ahead,
right,
yeah, why
right. You were where?
I was up in New York. And
Right.
that's the thing. I'm looking at the pictures of my conference. The difference between what goes on up there and what goes on
Mhm.
down here or in most of the country
It's crazy.
is insane.
Yeah.
And not a judgment or anything, but the quality of everything. I don't want to say people,
Yeah.
but it's insane, bro. Like,
Up there?
no, down here. Well, the difference, right? Up there, it's like all peer to peer, like, you know, real struggling people, and they're all in, you know, at this conference.
Mhm.
And then I see down there, everyone's dressed to the nines. You know, it's like
It's a different culture.
it's a whole different.
But the place that you guys were at was really cool because it looked like it was outside, but it wasn't, right? They were in like some kind of like biodome, Caroline said. Or did you guys not go to the same conference?
No, we did.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back. You know what? Because I don't think we've ever really gotten into you two guys
Yeah.
and what you do here, what
Mhm.
you do for
For
Haven,
living, yeah.
you know, what you do. You
Yeah.
know, it's always, you guys are always
Asking the
so much
questions.
about, you
Yeah.
know, before we're talking about, you know,
Mhm.
what conference, what kind of conference.
Yeah.
So what do you do here? Where do you work and what do you do?
Yeah. So great question. I'm trying to figure it out too.
Sure.
No, I do a lot. I work with the adolescents up in New York. So me personally, I work with a lot of probation officers. This thing called a SPO, which is a single point of access for kids, but mainly kids that are struggling, and mainly in the Northeast. And that's kind of when I came on to Haven. That was like my secondary job, if you will, was like to help out with that, get that started,
Right.
because it was a new program, and I was up in New York. But you know, I guess I say my daytime job is you know, directing the military program here and trying to figure that all out, which is been a fucking shit show. You know, it's been a lot as far as, you know, trying to navigate what's going on in our government, what's going on with our VA.
And that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's mostly, it's become a nightmare because it's become a funding problem.
Yeah.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, yeah. Yes, it's a funding problem.
It's a money problem.
It's a mismanagement of funds
Sure,
problem.
sure.
Yeah, it's not a problem with us or with the
Right.
veterans.
Right.
Or
Right.
I think here's the important piece, right? I'm a victim of it, or not the victim. I'm the one doing it. I don't know, the aggressor with the VA. Like, I get pissed off at the VA all the time.
Sure.
You know, I'm 100% disabled, so I've been through the ringer with the VA. But what comes along with that is that, you know, we forget about those people that do work at the VA that are fucking so good, man, and they really want to help people, but their hands are tied. You know.
Yeah, I have quite a few friends that work at the West Palm VA.
Yeah.
Guys that work, they'll go hang out at the cigar bar in West Palm. That's how I wound up meeting a lot of these guys. But a lot of times, you know, it's whatever politics, whatever funding thing. You know, these guys just want to help.
Yeah.
Half of them are ex-military or ex-law enforcement. You know,
they just
one
don't have the money to
guy,
do it.
Dino, good friend of mine. He does all the orthopedics, all the shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, those guys are important. This guy just wants help. Just wants to help.
yeah,
poor,
That's cool.
you know. But there's, and I think it's a shame, like you said, because the VA deservingly gets a bad rap,
Right.
but
Big
a
time.
lot of the people there are not in that bureaucrocy part of it that just want to help, kind
Right.
of just get towed into that of
Yeah.
Yeah, and I try to make that clear because I'm on a couple of boards, right? I'm on the county board for the Palm Beach County Veterans Affairs. I don't even know what the actual name of it is,
Yeah.
but basically we meet every 3 months we talk about this. And so I'm up there and I'm, there's a couple guys from the VA that work there. And like these guys want to help. And I'm like, look, like don't take this as a personal attack, but something's got to change. You know what I mean? And taking a step back, you said good people at the VA that work there. Like I've been in the psych ward so many times, and a lot of those people have been there 15, 20 years that work there.
Right.
And you could tell the ones that 10 years ago, they were gung-ho. They wanted to help us. They were all in. And they probably banged their fucking head against the wall so many times that they don't, they're but they also on this, they would have quit already, but they've already been there 10, 15 years and they want to do their 20 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And that sucks, man.
It does.
Yeah,
it's tough. You almost can't fault them. Like,
No,
you know what I mean? I've been banging my head against the wall for 10 years, but what do? I don't have 10 years to give back to go, I got to at least.
It's funny, man. I get into these, they'll call me for an appointment and it'll be from like 3 months ago and I'm heated up, I'm fired up. And then and then I'm like, hey, by the way, this isn't towards you. Just so you know.
Right.
None of this is towards you. Like you're actually really cool. And I by the end of the conversation, I'm apologizing. I'm making amends to him because I know my part. And it's like, but man, it's just, I can see, I got a lot of friends, me included, not anymore, but I had to check in at the VA and they'd have to bring an officer to bring me up to the 4th floor or whatever because I had been violent. And
he's like a high risk.
But I know a lot of guys like that, and you wonder why people don't want to go back into the VA because they get that. And now they have to check in with a cop and a cop has to escort them everywhere.
Why would they want to do it?
But again, it's one of those situations like, well, it's his fault or her fault that you were violent. I mean, I was violent, but now I'm not. And now, but they don't see it that way. It's just it's a broken system. Let's just call it
really a broken system. Yeah. And I think that it's really messed up that our government is spending billions of dollars outside of our borders when like we don't even have our like number 2 biggest things is homeless people and vets. Like we could help them. We have the money to, but instead we decide to spend money outside of the country on foreign wars and foreign politics.
Yeah, well, I don't even think we should. Yeah,
but I agree. That's just a question, though. I don't want to get too deep into it. But do you think that affects the VA's funding? It has to, right?
I think that a lot of people are miseducated.
Okay,
that they don't understand that. I mean, even people in the community care, right? The way we don't need to get into the that whole whatever. But people in community care don't understand that like the money's not coming out of their VA, it's coming out of the community. There's different budgets, you know what I mean? And then you'll get the response of like, oh, there's no money in the budget. And it's like, having done some research and like talked to the right people, like Concerned Veterans of America and stuff, being that this is like my livelihood, I try and reach out to all these people. And you realize that like, they don't even know, the money's not even allocated the way that most of the VA workers that we're talking about even understand.
Right.
So it's I don't know what the problem. The solution is to utilize community care a lot, and to do like as the bill was written to follow that.
So just explain right for people watching what is community care.
So community care basically, I mean, the best way I can put it, well, again, and this is not really in layman's terms, in our business is like having an HMO and a PPO, right? Like if you have community care, right. It's like having so you have to go into the VA, and if the VA can't see you in a certain amount of time, they'll write you an authorization or a consult to go out into the community to like say I'm supposed to have, this is real life, I'm supposed to have spinal surgery to have a disc replacement. Well, the VA either doesn't offer that surgery or a spinal surgeon, or they're backed up more than 3 months, so they have to send me to community care.
So community care essentially is having the ability to go outside of the VA for service, but it has to meet criteria. Like you said, the VA doesn't offer it.
Yeah.
The wait's too long.
Yeah. So it's almost like health insurance, right?
No, it's definitely a type of health insurance. Yeah. And I think that's where the problem comes in, right? Because there's a faction of our country, and again, not getting political, who believes in state-funded, state-run insurance. And so we are kind of the example of that in the VA, but it ain't working.
Well, right.
That's the problem. Right. But people want to hold on to that because they don't, because that's their baby.
Sure.
And then people are afraid of losing their jobs. But I know so many guys that would still go to the VA. It's just certain situations where it's not as good. Like I'll go there for my dental, right? I'm 100%, so I get free dental. Like I'll go there for my dental. You know what I mean? Like I'll go there for I have a good therapist at the one up in New York. I got a great therapist, but it's those situations like I believe in our field where it's much more beneficial for me as a veteran to not be stuck on a fourth floor,
Yeah,
wing
in the dumb.
with mental health subs, all these different people, when I could go to a place where I'm outside whenever I want to do, where I have a patio, where I have
Real care, yeah.
and I've been in both. I've been in both. And I'm not saying that if you're high acuity, if you got a real problem, maybe you don't need to have the freedom to be outside and things.
Yeah.
But bro, as a veteran, and I don't want to be with a bunch of vets either. Now there's different vets that believe different things. Right?
Okay.
But my thing is, I know how to sit here and talk. Like I just told you all some war story.
Yeah.
I'll
Sure.
sit here and with another vet and tell war stories till, but it doesn't help me. I'm just talking like anyone would talk about a street situation.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And not further than that, then you get the guys who we know are bullshitting, right? You get into these all veteran groups and half of them are full of shit. Fuck it, I could say because I'm and real recognize real, right? Just like if a situation, just a cigar situation, when someone doesn't know what they're talking about, immediately.
Right.
When someone's not from the Bronx, you know it immediately.
100%. Yeah.
It's the same thing with this. And so my thing is always we need to assimilate. That's why I like what we do. Our kind of model is we're not just a vet program. Right. We're trying to, because I know how to be a Marine.
Reintegration, yeah.
I know how to be a Marine. I did that pretty well. I need to learn how to live life because I'm not a fucking Marine anymore.
Especially, like you said, and I can understand what you're saying. If I'm in treatment, right? I'm with a bunch of vets, right? Well, that's kind of a comfort zone. Let's say it's a comfort zone for somebody, right? Because what I'm used to, I just can't,
I never looked at it like that.
But then I still, all of a sudden I dry turkey, cold turkey, make this transition. Now I'm home. I'm not with a bunch of vets. Well, how do I didn't spend that time, kind of interacting with civilians.
Yeah.
Now I got to suddenly, I'm on my own and I'm trying to, I can't tell. You can sit here and tell us war stories, right? But like you said, it doesn't bother. It's just a thing. We're having a conversation. But I don't have anything to give back to you because I didn't experience that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we're just talking. It's not
normal.
You don't look
conversation.
to that for therapeutic purposes.
Right.
Right. So I get what you're saying. When it's kind of you're looking for the mix of the real world of, people, you're a vet, you happen to be this, you happen to be that. It's not just.
Well, I'll put it like this. I remember being there and I was a victim of it. I got this I'll tell it too. Vets are very entitled once they know what they're, I 100%. I've been to the best treatment centers. I've been to the worst treatment centers. I've been all of them.
Yeah.
But when I knew what my insurance paid, and you know what I mean, I was very entitled. And one of the things when I was a very violent, or I should say aggressive.
Okay.
Stop drinking it.
That's horrible.
He just keeps drinking it.
Awful.
He's drinking an energy drink.
I was trying to slam mine while you guys were talking.
Whatever
and
this
I got
is.
down to it.
Not
and I'm
going to
like,
name names, but it's awful.
I'm not doing it.
It's Monday.
But no, I was a very aggressive, when I came, for obvious reasons, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I couldn't stand is little young punks, bro. I got sober at 37. So I'm coming out of the Marine Corps. I think I was 32, 33 years old. And I got, so I would always be like, oh man, I don't want to be around these little punk ass motherfuckers, and they, but what I realized is that's exactly who I needed to be around. Because that's what I needed to learn. You know what I'm saying? There's little punk motherfuckers everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And if I can deal with them, I learn how to deal with my wife and deal with my parents and deal with just fucking life.
Yeah.
Those are the things too. If I'm sitting here with a bunch of guys talking about combat and being, how great it was and how the good old days, what am I learning? But you put some of these situations that I can actually learn from and I have to be around them. When I got out, then I could walk away from them. And I had the ability to do that because I just had to do it.
Yeah.
You know what
I was watching a video the other day, and when you find a video, you want to send it, and then it's just gone. On social media, you'll refresh, and then it's just boom, it's gone.
Right.
So I was watching this video, and it was a therapist or somebody in the psychotherapy realm, and they were talking about vets in treatment. And I wanted to send it to you. I've been looking for it. I think it was Friday or Saturday. I was watching it, but they said statistically, vets that get sober with vets don't do as well as vets that get sober with civilians. Because in a vet, like you said, you guys are all talking war stories the whole time. It's vet, vet, vet. It puts you back into this mentality of war where it could almost make your PTSD worse. I want your feedback on this. That you get sober in a community of people that are just talking about, you know, like the war days. And it's always like, what's wrong with me? How bad's my PTSD? And I'm not, you know, obviously talking as in depth as this person did, but they said statistically proven you will get better, I guess. I don't know, like you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like your likelihood of staying sober is better if you get sober with civilians, not with Marines.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's my
that make
story.
sense? Yeah.
It's my story.
Okay.
I got sober. I was the only veteran in a 12-man house in a nonprofit up in the hills of Texas.
Okay.
But what I found was that military feeling. I found that fellowship. I found that like bunker mentality with those guys. But none of them were in the military.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like to say better or worse or, you know, like
Sure.
because that could be based on a treatment center that only had civilian. You know what I'm saying?
well,
Like, you never know.
it was statistics
And it depends
driven,
on the
you know?
But I
person.
agree with you, bro.
Yeah.
What were we saying?
You know, obviously it depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
You know, some people may fare better, but you know, I think kind of part of that is like we were saying earlier. It starts the process of a transition, right? I'm not because if I'm, you know, it's a kind of a comfort zone, right? To be around, I would assume,
Yeah.
you know, 10 vets, right? I mean,
Right.
eventually I got to leave that place, and now I'm back, and you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like
I'm around
almost like coming home
civilians.
from war, you know, like you're with all these people. And then when
Sure.
you come home, you got to reintegrate into society with civilians. You know, maybe that's where the statistic comes from, you know?
So, what do you do? And where do you do
I
it?
do a little
while
bit of
we're here?
everything. So I've been with the Haven, you know, Haven Health Management for the better part of the last 9 years, you know, 8.5. I've been with this company. Wore every hat, you know, a lot of people know my story. I started 7 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock in the morning, mopping the floors of the detox, and you know, worked my way up through business development,
It's funny 'cause you were mopping the
admissions,
floors of a
alumni.
detox today.
Today I was.
Oh, really?
Oh man, bro, I gave Ashley
Sorry,
got
I
her
didn't mean
coffee,
to-
everything, and she goes into the meeting. I'm like, all right, I'll keep your seat warm, like as a joke, and I
Yeah.
come around her desk, and I had the Starbucks cup from the top.
You know,
The bottom
that's
fell
the
out.
thing lately, man. I
Right?
don't know what it is. I don't know. They're
Weak
cutting
lids.
corners on the lids.
Have to be.
They're cutting corners.
Have to
Popping
be.
off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro,
man.
it happens all the time. Even at Wawa, you can't even get the lid on the cup.
You know what I noticed too? Now all of a sudden with a hot coffee, I have to ask
For the thing.
for both things for the thing to put in the top
And the sleeve.
and the sleeve. I gotta ask for them. They don't just
Cutting
put them
corners.
on.
Yeah.
Cutting corners.
Yeah, but they want to make all the straws.
I mean, what
you
are we
know?
saving? 3 cents?
Yeah.
So anyway, what do you do here?
Paper
What do you do?
straws.
You did me a lot of what you did. What do you do?
Yeah, so currently I do business development. I'm really involved in the community with other treatment facilities, you know, making sure that people get appropriate care, placing people that are hard to place, you know, with weird insurances or people that don't have funds, trying to get them into treatment at an affordable rate. But yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I help a lot of people. You know, I've helped thousands of addicts get into treatment. You know, I'm in the game of showing up. You know, I'm not in the business of so much the result. You know, I'm more in the business of showing up and, you know, helping these people try to see their result, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. I enjoy what I'm doing. I met Johnny through this. I met you through this, you know. We started this, you know, through this business. And I think it's been good to all of us. And, you know, we just try on a daily basis to wake up and, you know, if I can help one person every month, it works for me. You know, if one person gets sober based on the 20 people I help get into treatment, I did my job, you know.
I don't agree with that statement.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I'm gonna tell you why. And you know, I've been in the treatment business a
Mhm.
long time. I'll tell you why I don't agree with that statement. I think you're putting too much burden on yourself. Your job, the success of your job, is not intertwined with someone else's success of staying clean.
Mm-hmm.
Your job, you can't keep them clean. You can't
No.
get them clean.
No, you just get
Your
them in the door.
job is to deliver the best information you can at
Mhm.
the time to that person.
Yeah.
And would they do that at that point?
It's up to them.
Stay clean,
Mm-hmm.
overdose, relapse, and die. Unfortunately, No,
Yeah.
these are all
Yeah.
things that can possibilities that can happen.
100%.
As long as you gave that person the best information you
Mhm.
could at the time,
Yeah.
you have done your job successfully.
Mm-hmm. And that's where it comes. I said, you know, I'm in the business of showing up, not in the results business, because,
Right.
like you said, you know, it's you
Right.
explained
Right.
that, and for a
The-
long time too. Like, I lost sleep. You know,
Sure.
like kids came into treatment that I placed in treatment in my facility that I work for, and they died. I blame myself for that, you know,
You can't.
for a long
bro, you're
time.
done.
Right.
You
You
And
can't.
then
You can't.
I
You
heard
can't.
Ben say it, right, from Real Recovery Talk podcast. We, you know, referral partner we work very close with, Rock Recovery. Ben said, I'm in the business of showing up. I'm not in the business of the result, because you can't control the result.
Sure.
What is it? 1 in every 30 people, you know, stay sober. Like,
Right.
you can't control that, but you could show up for that person every day and show them, like, yo, dude, if you do what I'm telling you to do, like, this is what you got right here, you know?
Yeah, you know, the one that stays clean, that is what keeps you remaining to do what you do.
Correct. Yeah.
The success of your job is based on the delivery of information, right?
Yeah.
Showing up.
Yeah. How well can you explain the process, right? How well can you
Right.
explain your program?
Right.
Yeah.
Question for
Yeah.
you. I want to stay lighthearted. I don't know about you guys, but I just want to like
Yeah.
bullshit.
Cool.
Florida, right? Born?
Yeah.
Florida guy.
Mhm.
Boca.
Boca baby.
Boca
big
boys.
5'6"
Real one though, not no fucking
Boca
transplant
boys.
like
So,
you boys.
Yeah.
no, I don't claim Boca, bro. I don't even.
Yeah.
I didn't even keep a Florida
Yeah,
number.
Alex, don't rep Boca
Yeah.
anymore, all right?
So, all right. So,
Fuck around and
Question.
find out. Yeah.
when did you first leave Boca? Was it military?
I mean, I went away to school twice.
You did.
Yeah, I tried
Where
to
at?
go. Yeah, so
College or
Yeah.
boarding? You know, you try to go away, you know?
I got in a lot of trouble when I was young, but I still had a good. My academics were good.
Right.
I went to Florida State right after in summer of my freshman year,
Okay.
and then I failed out of there within 2 semesters. Came back, worked for a year, went back.
Really?
Yeah, got my jaw broke, drunk in a fucking got stomped out. Bro.
That's when they wired you.
Yeah, it's why my jaw shut. It's one of the things I always say too. Like my ability to not say no has been a problem in all facets of my life.
Yeah,
To
since day one.
include like running into fights that I never have a chance of winning. You know, I'm not one of those guys that kicks
Sure.
ass. Like, bro. But anyway, got my jaw broke.
Yeah.
Got me hooked on perks and liquid Vicodin, and I ended up coming home after that semester for good. But yeah.
How
then
old were you?
At that point?
Yeah.
Just turned 21 when I got
And you joined the military.
25.
Said
Yeah,
25.
so like
But
6.
so still Florida State. So really, like, was your first real time anytime outside of Florida
Yo,
military?
Other than New York City, I used to go to New York City try and get clean
Okay.
before the Marine Corps. I'd
Mhm.
spend months at a time up there. But
Wow,
yeah,
like
never.
rehab or something.
My brothers
detox.
lived
Your
up
brother-
there. Yeah.
Got it.
My brother was in and out of
Go
recovery.
dry out. Go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go
And
Good
then
old
detox
couch
to my brother.
detox.
yeah,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
home and my
yeah.
brother's smoking crack in the living room. So he
Yeah.
relapsed, and now we're in the Lower
Right,
East Side
right,
getting high.
right.
Johnny's like, I came in to get
Right.
clean,
Yeah,
but
dude,
I
this-
guess we're getting high.
Bro, I came in one day and I had just finished kicking. Obviously we wouldn't have stayed clean, but I finished kicking. I come up the stairs to his little
Yeah.
apartment, and he's smoking a rock, dude. And I wasn't even I hadn't smoked crack at that point.
Yeah.
I was just on the opiates and sniffing coke. And he's like, "You can either partake or get out."
That's it.
Damn,
That's
bro.
That's it.
I got no
Yeah.
choice. I got to
Yeah,
partake,
yeah,
bro.
right, yeah.
Right.
And that was it, man. Yeah, but yes, long story short, yeah, that was my first time out of Florida.
Right. Right.
Well,
You're a New York guy, right?
yeah, born and
Clearly.
raised. Yeah. I tried leaving once and didn't work. I tried getting clean. The first time I went to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, I wasn't ready. Pushed me into treatment and went to Clearbrook and
Right.
going to my therapist's office. Yeah, man, going home in a week. And his whole face just dropped. I'm like, dude, my mom told me 30 days I'm going home. He's like, your mom lied to you. You're going to sober living down the block. I spent like 6 months there and ended up back in the neighborhood. And I mean, you know how the story goes. I'm not any different than anybody else.
Sure.
Maybe it lasted like a week or something. And that's when I fell in love with heroin, blues. And then my boy's like, yeah, come get you. We're going to cop. And you give him his money. Boom. He goes out, comes back with little bags. I'm like, it's not what I gave you my money for. He's like, works better, cheaper. You don't got to do as much. Here you go. And
Well,
that was probably the roughest year in my life in between like Pennsylvania and going out to Arizona and getting clean. Like that was, I mean, people talk about it all the time. Like, my addiction ran wild for all these years. Like I pretty much had it, like I was good until that last year when I found heroin. Like it was, I never
That's how I found
destroyed
dope, too.
so much shit.
when I
bro,
went up to New York
in
another
one
time,
year,
So-
burned it to the ground.
instead of $1 a milligram, You know, or
Right.
I could get a $10 bag of dope
$10,
that was
right.
worth the 80 of Oxy. Or
Right.
Oxy.
Yeah,
Or
and
more.
in our
Yeah.
like junkie brain tells us that makes sense, which is so crazy. Like,
mean,
it's
does it?
cheaper, it's better, it's
Does
gonna
make
kill
sense.
you
Makes
faster.
total
Makes
you know,
perfect
but
sense.
You
Makes
tell-
total
you
sense.
talk to anybody
To this
else,
day,
it's
it
like,
makes sense.
Yeah, but
I mean, honestly,
you talk to a normal person, they're like, you could have did the safe drug and spent the extra money. Like a normal person would say, I would rather spend the extra 20 and know that it's like real rather than get something that was made in a bathtub.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, back then we weren't.
We're
we
drug
weren't
addicts. I know it
buying.
makes sense to us.
I would hold that last thing of dope until 6 days. I'd stay up smoking rocks or whatever, shooting coke, just to not fucking have to go to bed if I only had one bag of dope. Because boy,
Yeah,
you
knew
know
it.
what's coming,
Oh
man.
my god,
It's
I
hell.
still feel that shit in my stomach, man. When you think
That's
about
that
it,
shitty energy drink you just had.
Yeah, that's what that is. That's,
I don't
that's
know.
what it is.
But
no.
but look, back then, even though I'll be honest, man, life, I didn't feel like death wasn't on the table. There was no fentanyl.
No.
Right.
Now,
No.
Right.
so the
Right.
bathtub shit it wasn't really bathtub. It was fucking, I remember, so I was in that
Yeah, it was
Lower East Side
heroin.
and they were all Dominicans and like
Right.
I knew like this and it, like they say this now and I'm like, you have no idea. But back then, like when
I knew my
homie
guy.
his cousin was coming once a week
Mhm.
from Dominican with the Dominican dope.
Yeah.
And it was Dominican dope.
Yeah.
And not that you couldn't die from it, but it
Sure.
wasn't like
You had to do a
if
lot
you
of it,
did the
yeah.
right amount, the same, you know, you were
Right.
good.
Yeah.
That shit don't play anymore.
No, because our
man.
era, and I mean, you got clean, 5 years ago, so you do know that. But like me and Alex, like we talked about it, would come in little spurts, the fentanyl. Like you'd know somebody had it a little bit here and there, but like when you were getting high right before you got clean, that's all it really was fetty, right? Like that's
the
drug.
The last 6 months of me being when I was homeless in Miami in Overtown, it was very clear. It was like, you want a $10 bag of fent or you want a $20 bag of dope?
Wow.
Well, I'll take 2 bags of fent because I got $20.
Right.
Knowing it had no legs and it wasn't going to last long, but I knew it was going to do what it needed to do, which is change the way I felt
Right.
and take away the sickness.
Oof.
And so I would take that every time. And there would be times when I put a little too much in the fucking cap. But it's like, I'd rather put too much in the cap than not enough and shoot and not get high. It was like, so that, well, I will say, if it came to like maybe dying or not being high, I'll test out the maybe dying.
Right.
Because one thing's for sure, I can't feel like this any fucking more.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? But 100%. I was in the hospital probably a couple times a week.
From ODs.
From ODs when I was in Miami, and that was at the end of my run out there, and then when I went to Texas, got clean and sober for a while, and went back out for a few months.
Mhm.
It was all the tar, so it was a little different. It was a little harder to hide the fentanyl in that tar.
Yeah.
Right.
So it felt
had
a
my
little,
run-ins
it was
with
a little
the tar.
better.
Now
Different game.
you
Me?
overdoses?
Nah, bro.
Never once?
Never once, man. You gotta remember
Yeah.
something. You gotta remember.
I've only had one.
I started using heroin in 1999.
That's so
right?
crazy.
I got high in the mecca of heroin land, Kensington, North Philadelphia.
How old are you?
42.
Yeah, you're my
42. I
age.
started getting high in 17. I just had put
So
up. I was in
sick, bro.
Kensington, Philadelphia.
I was
By
five.
the
I was
time
5
I got
years old
clean,
when
you
he
got to
started
remember,
getting
I got
Well, I was getting, we were the
I
same
got
age.
clean in 2009.
Mhm.
So that's like right before the whole, we had spurts where like fentanyl would wind up in heroin.
But it's like no one knew what it was even.
Right. People would die, some people overdosed, but it was like, okay.
Strong dope.
But it was like, there was a bad batch. A bad batch is going
Yeah,
around. That's you
yeah.
hear, a bad batch is going around.
It wasn't
Not
fentanyl.
Yeah, not like this is the norm now.
Yeah.
But me and my good friend Justin, we talk about it all the time. Like, okay, we're pretty sure that even at this point, had I not got clean in 2009 and him gotten himself together, we're pretty sure that we'd have been clean by this point anyway, just by
Correct.
default, because heroin no
'Cause of
longer
the
exists.
drugs.
We were heroin out. Yeah, the
Yeah.
drugs that I loved were gone.
Mhm.
They were gone anyway.
Or dead.
Or dead, yeah, or
Right.
dead, or dead, or
It's
dead.
funny because I remember too, back until 2017, when there was someone would die, we would go to that block.
Yeah.
Like, because you think it was just good dope,
Sure.
strong dope.
Sure.
Like I remember being in Overtown, it was like the yellow bags on this corner, green bags. And like if a dude died and you knew he had a yellow bag on him,
Yeah.
you were going to the yellow block because you wanted that because you thought it was just strong dope, and this
Right.
guy didn't know how to shoot.
Right.
You know
Little do
what
we
I mean?
now that like the
Yeah.
dope you can't do enough
No.
dope to kill you.
Right, right.
It's whatever else
Poison.
is
Yeah.
floating around in
Yeah,
there
man.
that's
Right.
killing you.
Yeah.
It was wild, bro. When that started, it is when you think. I mean, it's crazy. I never really thought about it. I was right in that. I was right in the middle of that like progression to straight fentanyl. You know, to the point where now, and I'm not good at like parceling my fucking
no,
drugs.
me neither.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
Yeah.
So like, and
Johnny goes away on a Friday for a 3-day trip, you know, with 3 days worth of drugs, and does them the first day every time.
Bro, when I did my cell phone thing, I figured out that I could lease 12
explain the
cell
cell
phones.
phone thing.
I was going up. My buddy, my Marine, my sergeant. He's my big brother, Richburg. Love him to death to this day. And he's a very religious guy, you know. And he's like gonna save me, right? So he bought me a Amtrak ticket up to South Carolina.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta get as much dope as I can for this ride.
Sure.
And so I go and I try and get another cell phone from Sprint back in the day. This is 2015.
Yeah.
I find out that they'll lease me 12 phones, bro. My credit was pretty good. I just got out of the Marine Corps.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God. And I know I got the Russian fucking pawn shop down the block they don't even take it out the box. They don't need it to be broke, you know, anything, jailbroke or anything.
Yeah, give it to me.
Dude, I got 10 phones and an iPad with its own line. Brought it right to this guy, to the brothers at the pawn shop, and got whatever amount, like I think it was like $250 a phone or something at that point. The iPhone 7s, I think.
Yeah.
I had all that money, bro. I bought so much crack and fucking heroin. I couldn't wait to get on that Amtrak.
Yeah, you
like,
were
let's go. I'm
Right,
game.
right.
Bro, it was like a 28-hour Amtrak ride.
Yeah.
I spent the whole time in their bathroom, sitting on the floor by the vent
Yeah.
at the Amtrak because I thought I could blow all the smoke out. To your point, all that dope was like almost gone when I got to South Carolina. I lasted 2 days in South Carolina. I had to get on a train and come back, dope sick. But yeah,
I have my good friend. He won't care. I'll tell this story. I won't say his name, but I'll tell this story. So this was when we were still in the mix of it. But he went on a 10-day. It's the craziest thing in the world. I wouldn't go 10 days anywhere. He went on a 10-day trip to the Bahamas with his girl.
Yep.
Right. In his mind, bringing enough dope for him to get through the 10 days. That lasted about 3 days.
Yep.
My friend literally left his wife, took all the money, took the plane tickets, and went and got a plane and flew back to the U.S. because he couldn't stay dope sick in the Bahamas for another 7 days. Bro, left his wife in the Bahamas.
Go back to the Bahamas with the dope?
No,
or
no, it was
I'm
like
sure he had money.
that was the plan. I'm gonna go. I'll come back.
Yeah.
Blah, blah,
But he
blah,
spent
you
the
know.
plane ticket money to get
No, it was
back
all
on dope.
gone.
Yeah, it was
gone. Left his
gone.
wife in the Bahamas.
Holy shit.
That's a good point. The plans that we have.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
when
but
we
dude,
want
also-
something, we're gonna get it back.
Yeah.
Mom's jewelry. I'm gonna get it back.
Oh,
to
and
like,
you
You want to
never
pawn it
knew.
or something? I'll sell. I'm gonna pawn it. I'll
pawn-
be
pawn-
back.
we'll
I'll
get
get it
back.
back in 90
Instead of
days.
getting the extra
Yeah,
20 to
right.
sell.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's why I love going into some of these pawn shops that I used to go into now.
Oh
Because
my
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Clean up, bro.
dude, like
That's
these
why I buy
guys,
all my guitars. I
I
go to the
know
pawn
these
shop, buy
guys.
my guitars.
Yeah, I know they looked at me like, you fucking drunk. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we got him again. We got him again. Like,
Yeah.
this fucking.
No, but you go in now and you
Oh,
see the
beautiful,
guys that
bro.
are getting got again, you know?
Yeah.
You're sitting there watching the guy like give away that $10,000 chain for $40.
You know, but you know
like,
what's crazy? Like I always like I'll watch like you see that, or I'll watch like porn stars, and I'm like, dude, I used to go in the pawn shop with like a phone, a wrench, and a spoon to see what I can get. You know, what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, bro, just give me $8. I'm not. You know what I mean? Like,
It's true. I keep this chain on me, man. I think I told you this story.
Yeah.
I keep this chain on me since 2015. I got a new one, but I had sold the.
is it
St.
still all
Christ-
jumbled up?
No, it came out. It just comes
You
out
fix
naturally.
it?
But I
yeah.
had ripped off the St. Christopher medal because it was silver. Got $5 for it.
Right.
Had the chain. Then I used to go around Boynton and Seacrest trying to sell the chain as white gold. They're like, Johnny,
Yeah.
brother, we know you. Like,
Right, there's no way you
yo,
can-
yo,
You
white
gave
boy
us a
ass
silver
crackhead
fork
ass
the
would have
other
sold
day.
that shit a long time ago if it was
Yeah.
real, man.
Right.
Fucking come back at 20, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
fuck, dude.
You tried to give
Anyway,
us to that last week.
so it's the only thing I had left was this chain, bro.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing I had on my person when I finally, got out of the psych ward the last time was this fucking chain.
Wow.
Yeah, I've tried to have it like dipped in platinum or something cool. You know,
Right,
they
right,
can't do it.
No. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy the extents that we go to, though, you know? And it's sick that, like, you grew up in Philly, I grew up in the Bronx, you grew up in Boca, and literally we've all shared that same, like you say it, and I love it. And I've used it so many times, like speaking, or I did an interview while we were at the conference with, like, an EMR system, you know what I'm saying? They're just trying to get out there, like, let me promote the podcast and stuff. And I said that on, on their interview, like, yeah, we might not know each other, but like me and you know what pain feels like. You know, me and you know what loneliness feels like. And ever since you said that to me, that sat like deep with me because I've never heard anybody say that, but I've also never related to something so much, you know, like there's 5 of us in the room. None of us grew up anything similar, but like to a certain extent, we all know what pain feels like. You know, we all share those emotions. And that's just something like that's always like that you've said that's stuck with me.
It's the best part of meetings, right? Like they always tell you stop comparing, start identifying.
Yeah.
And I always
Unless
tell
it's
young guys,
Crossroads, right? At 7 o'clock CA.
oh God, bro.
We'll
He
talk
took
about
me
that
as,
after.
yeah. Dude. But like I always tell like
You wanted to
connect
kill
on
me.
someone's pain. That's what I learned the best, man. Like when I would go to AA meetings and like I'm you know, I shoot dope and da da. But then there was a woman who drinks red wine and she was telling a story about how she couldn't get to the red light. This is like a house mom, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? A stay-at-home mom. But she couldn't get to the red light without twisting the cap on that fucking red wine. And she, even as much as she didn't want to, she would have to drink on her way home. And like, I can grasp that pain, that agony,
Yeah.
that like, that fucking
The
obsession
itch. Yeah,
to
the-
have to fucking drink it on the way home. That was me with my drugs, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, I used to fucking, I don't know, I shouldn't get this. Like, I used to
Get
like
into
shoot
it.
in my neck, bro.
Yeah.
And like, I'd be at a stoplight and it would turn green and I'd finally have hit, and I'd leave that thing hanging. I feel like a pirate. That's what I used to think in my fucked up brain, like a pirate, you know, with the swingy earrings. I have this, I'd have my rig hanging out my neck because I couldn't fucking pull over or wait till I got to wherever the fuck I was before I hit that shit.
Yeah.
And that, but the woman with the red wine had the same fucking urge.
Same. So the feeling, that
The
feeling inside,
bro.
that's the same.
And we can all
the
grasp
same.
that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It don't matter what we look like.
Don't fucking matter.
So let me ask you guys this, right? Like I said, we're all at you know, we've managed to get our lives together in you know, one form or another. What do you do for fun? What do you like to do for fun? What's your life like now? What's fun to you?
What's that song like? What's your life like?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about mine.
Mine's is real.
Yeah.
Siegel.
Is that BC? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, sorry,
Total
Philly.
jail song.
Hit him right with the Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you ain't gonna stick in with that.
Yeah.
Wait, what's so?
What do you do for fun? Like, what's fun to you? What do you?
It's
what do
funny you say that. I don't know. You guys are on my Facebook or whatever, and like I posted some shit today, and it's the truth, bro. Like it was my birthday weekend.
Yeah.
I was under the weather, so we didn't really do much. But my mom and my daughter walked. My mom and my wife walked a 5. My wife ran a 5K, and my mom walked a 5K. You know what I'm saying? For breast cancer. My mother had breast cancer years ago. My wife got her best time ever. My mom walked it and rain poured on her. She walked the whole 2 miles. And I had my daughter there. And it sounds corny and cliche, you know what I mean? But like, bro, at the end of the day, there's no one I'd rather be, dude. I don't know if you call it fun. I don't know what the fuck you call it. And then I had another, I put it a collage, you know? And I was sitting in my backyard. My homeless junkie, this is my mindset, like fucking ass, with my feet up on this really nice like chairs that we bought with my pool. And it was not, you know, it was kind of cooled down this weekend. And I was just so at peace, bro. And so that's fun for me, man. And I think that's the beauty of this, right? And like people that, I hate saying that because people new in recovery, I think that sounds so far away. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like, bro, that shit is fun. Now, do I have fun tweaking out at a fucking CA meeting like we went to last week too?
Yeah.
100%, bro. He took me to the worst
Yeah,
meeting.
but that's not. You can't. You can only do that.
Right.
Once in a
You
while.
ain't showing up to that CA meeting next week.
ever again.
Right.
But like,
not what
like-
it used to be.
Right.
But bro, you know, I don't know, man, because I want to say something like really cool.
Yeah, but you don't have to. You're almost apologizing for what is fun
But
to
you
you.
know,
and that's
we
okay.
wanna, I'm trying to reach other people.
Right.
that
But that's
just-
okay.
they're like,
But
I'll say the cool stuff, don't worry.
yeah, he does all kinds of wild shit.
Right.
But even that, like, you're not, you know, are you at like sometimes I feel like maybe you're doing some of that cool shit just to like numb or not have to work
Other
deal
parts
with
of-
what's really going on.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
100%. No, it's, I mean, for me, right, like my fun is like buying fossils or, you know, buying old stuff. I mean, you come to my house, it's like a museum. I got glass blown fishing floats, you know, from Beijing. I have El Cazador shipwreck, pirate coins, meteors, and like my fun is in like history, right? So we talk about it all the time. Like I'm the guy with like the leather book. You know, like I don't take notes in my phone. I write notes in my leather book. Like my fun is wrapped around history, right? I like to study history. I like to collect, you know, artifacts or fossils or like stuff that's like that's where I find my fun is in the past. It's weird, you know, like I just like history. I like research and stuff.
Cool.
I read books now. It's something I like recently got into is like reading, but fishing, going fast, working on cars, stuff like that. You know, as long as I'm like by the water or by something that smells like gasoline, I'm usually having fun, you know. But everything in life today is fun, you know. Like I'm not dragged down by that weight of like not having money because I'm getting high, or like not having time because I got to figure out how to try to get high. Like, you know, like I have fun doing pretty much everything. You know?
I still have fear of financial insecurity though. Like I'm hearing
Absolutely.
that. I still have that, and I make good money, and I'm a disabled vet.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I got a good like if everything fell apart,
Yeah,
I'll
you
always
got a
have
little
my
extra.
pension. You
Yeah.
know, but like some of those things, and I got to be clear too. I play blackjack. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like sitting by the pool.
Yeah. So
You know what I
Johnny
mean?
swiped out, you know, put
So-
down drug addiction, picked up
Yeah,
gambling, but it's okay.
Hey,
How many kids you got?
one.
One.
Yeah.
I think that becomes a bigger part of us
Mhm.
when you have kids.
Yeah.
Right. Because I can't lose it all, right, and start over. I can't lose it all and start over. I got 2 kids. I got a
Mhm.
kid to take care of. So that financial insecurity, like that fear of like failure in that
Yeah.
is because it's not just me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can if I were to blow it and it was just me, okay, I'll go sleep on Tyler's couch
No
for a couple,
problem.
figure out a plan.
Yeah, 100%
I can't
right.
do that with my kid and my wife.
Yo.
And my,
100%. Because I was thinking about that. I don't know. Sometime this weekend.
Yeah.
Because exactly, bro. If it were me, I don't need a pool. Like
Right.
I need like your apartment is dope. Like by the water,
Yeah.
got a nice
Yeah.
pool and all that shit. Like
Right.
that's all I need. So I don't. You're absolutely right. It's about like, and you got to remember too. My daughter was alive when I was using. Right. I took everything
old's your
from
kid?
them, bro. 10.
Right.
I got like a little over 5.5 years.
right. So she's seen some of it.
You know what I mean? Like my daughter was born and I had to go cot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
Like soon after, like I started getting a little sick. You know, like those are the type of shit. I left my wife and child.
So there also has to be some I can't ever do this again to them in you. You know what I mean?
100.
Because you did it.
I think I finally got clean too. Is because, and I've said this many times, I didn't deserve my daughter, but my daughter at that still deserved me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that was a big part of it. Because let's be honest, man. I hear people say getting sober is easy, bro. Like being dope sick is fucking hard, bro.
Absolutely.
It is fucking hard.
See, people always say that, and I think they're wrong. I think the word that they need to use is simple. It's simple, but it ain't easy.
No, bro.
You know.
Once I got all the
100%.
drugs out of my system and I knew what recovery was and I was into it, it was pretty easy. But like when you've blown it all up, and look, you gotta, and again, I'm just talking about me. Like I came out of the Marine Corps, I had a lot of shit set up for me, right? I owned my house. I had a good fucking, I had everything. I had a good, as my buddy had sent me one job. I had everything set up. And when you blow, and I had a great wife and a fucking healthy, beautiful daughter. When you blow all that up,
Mhm.
bro, it's not easy to just say, no, bro, just get sober. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck.
Right.
Like, ugh. Like, and I tried it numerous times and then went right back to it. It was like, man, I don't want to do this again. But that little girl, she gave me the motivation.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And my wife, too, who was no longer my wife, my ex-wife, like, she did need help,
Mm.
you know? She didn't sign up to do this on her own.
Sure. Sure.
But, my brother had died a year before I got sober, and then I was fully convinced that that's the way it was going to end for me.
Right.
I mean, because I was like him, if not worse at that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But
So, but
I
yeah,
agree with you,
taking
man.
it back,
Yeah.
that's that fear of like,
Fear. Healthy fear.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, it's
sure.
something I don't
Sometimes it
understand.
becomes obsessive. Well, because you don't have to, and this is not a knock if you don't,
No,
but
of
but
course,
you don't have to carry the burden of knowing that if I fail, someone else is going to suffer,
Mhm.
right? Because if I fail, right, single guy
Yeah.
doing whatever, I'm going to suffer,
Mhm.
right? And maybe people will be sad or upset or letting people down, but if I fail now, my children will directly suffer
Yeah.
because of my failure.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
If I go out, right?
It's more of a
Okay,
risk.
we can go extreme, right? If I go out, right, and I go out and I overdose and die, okay, I'm smart enough at this stage in my life that I have life insurance, right? So my kids will get some money. They'll be
Mhm.
taken care of a little bit, but then they just lost a father who's going to raise them,
Yeah.
right? But it's the same thing if I, blow this financially, well, my kids are going to suffer, right? I got to figure that out. Like you said, doesn't work. It's just me. I got to figure out, Tyler, yo, what are you doing? Or, I mean, you have a girlfriend, not that you're, but one of my single friends, dude, yo, I'm coming to crash on your couch. I got to figure out, give me a couple weeks. Let me figure. And then that's it. And I'll make it work. It's just me.
Yeah.
It's nobody else depending on me. So I get that. It is a healthy fear.
Yeah.
Sometimes we obsess over it a little too much, right? And you almost get that feeling like, because you're so used to like chaos and failure, like, all right, when's the ball going to drop?
Yeah.
And this is like way too much.
100%.
This is way too good.
And there's like an imposter syndrome, right? Like I'm like, I don't know, like they're gonna, not they as in anyone specific, but they're gonna find out. Like I'm
they're
not
gonna make me
what I am, you know what I mean? But that's bullshit too, right?
Yeah.
Because that's like, I actually am, bro.
I actually am, right.
That's why I'll show you, like, you seen a bit, you know what I mean? Like I've been there, you've been there, we've been there. Like I did get this shit out the mud. You know what I mean?
For real.
Right.
And but it's hard to do that too, because am I being egotistical? It's like,
well, I hate that thing. Like, though, a lot of people in AA and a lot of my friends that are in AA are always like, "Oh, you're coming at it from ego." Like, you're. I don't necessarily think now that ego is so bad. And I mean, it sounds bad saying it like that, but like in early recovery, like ego will make you get high, right? Ego will prevent growth. But like now, like healthy ego is also a thing, right? Like you could have some sort of a healthy ego rather than, you know what I'm talking about? Like a lot of people in AA are like, "Oh, you're living in ego." Like you're living in ego.
Yeah. I mean, there's a difference between, there's a
It's a
difference
hard
between
one, yeah.
ego and pride.
Okay.
But there's also, I think, a difference in what I'm proud of, right? Or what my ego is pointed towards, right? Because I think ego and pride build society, right?
Yeah.
Right. Without drive, it's very hard to have drive without having some pride,
Correct.
right? So it's just what you're directing that at.
I think it's semantics too. It's a lot of the way we use words.
I agree.
Because they say pride becomes before the fall, and I agree with that. Like, but then they're using it as in like too proud, as in like you. I think then we're talking about ego. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I definitely do believe that the pride comes before the fall. That in the sense that they're talking about, where like, calm down a little bit. Because if you get too high on your horse, you're gonna fall the fuck off.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's funny because I think, at least for me, and I'd like to hear your point in this. I think and I don't know if it's subconscious, but I think the ego check, right, at least for me, is that same fear of failure almost checks the ego naturally for me, right? Because you kind of get caught up in yourself sometimes. I'm doing good, things are great. Look at what I did, but at the same time, that fear in your head creeps in, like, God, I can't blow this, right? So it almost makes you by default check your ego.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah, no, I think if your ego is in check, you're okay. Obviously, anything that's not in check's not okay, right?
Sure. And again, I think what it's pointed at,
like, oh, you're living in ego. Oh, you're doing that based out of ego. Like everybody wants to blame like ego in the rooms, when in reality, like, my ego could have helped me yesterday.
The other side of what you just said, everybody, fuck everybody.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know who I'll listen to.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
I just feel like there's this whole community of people that are telling you that you're doing it wrong. And I feel like that's why people have kind of drifted away from AA, because, I mean, look at us the other day, bro. We're in an AA meeting. The guy's standing up there, like, asking questions, looking for answers. Like he was
like, raise your hand if this, raise your hand if that. Like, we're in a fucking group.
Insane. And then me and Johnny are like, when is he going to stop? Yeah. And he didn't stop.
Bro. Like,
he was the speaker or just got
He was the speaker. Yeah.
So he was running a group.
So what does everybody know about?
100.
Raise your hand if they're if you've ever done a ninth step, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 hands go up. Like, okay, do you understand a ninth step? And like the whole time, bro, it's just like this, hands shooting up. This guy's asking questions. Like, I'm not in a classroom. Like, you're supposed to come here to show me how you did it, or to make it look good so that I'll do it. Right? That's the purpose of a speaker in a meeting, is to stand up there and say, I did this. I now have this. If you want this, do this, right? I'm a prime example of why you should stay in these rooms. I'm not teaching you. I'm not here to do a lecture, because it's not what it is. I'm not here to,
Well, that is, I think, an example of
ego.
Poor ego, right?
Ego, yeah.
Right. because I'm looking for. I do that. Raise your hand if this. Raise your hand if that. That's really just a way of me checking. All right, how many people are still listening to me and how great a speaker I am.
Yeah.
You know, and if I'm asking you the question, right? How many people? So if I ask you the question, do you know what a 9-step is? You automatically assume that I must know what a 9-step is to be able to answer you.
Yeah.
So that's me putting myself, trying to work myself into a higher position than you people I'm speaking to.
I'm the expert.
I'm the expert in the room, right?
I can see it.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm asking you, then by default, you must think that I already know.
Yeah, I
what
must
I'm
know,
talking about.
right?
I must know. Why would I ask you?
Them. We should have checked them. Like, do you know?
No, then we would be doing that.
Yeah.
Right. That would be us.
Then you
being
tit
an
for
ego.
tat, which I am. I'm all about. I can be petty. Listen,
I
bro.
can be petty.
I can be petty Pendergrass if I want to.
It was a huge meeting too, though.
It was. There were so many people in that meeting. I just feel like a lot of people in that meeting are now turned off to some extent because of that guy. There's a lot of treatment centers in that meeting. Like, those kids don't want to,
Yeah, or they
relate
don't know
with them.
they don't know better, and they maybe got something out of it too.
Maybe.
We just know
Maybe.
too much.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's-
mean?
that might be
You
the
never
problem.
know.
True.
Well, listen, there is a problem in knowing too much.
And look, that's what they were getting.
Sorry,
It is like a treatment center group, so maybe they were just getting exactly what they had all day.
True. Right.
But someone told me, and I love the saying, it's like AA, NA, whatever, it's not a hotbed of sanity. And I always remember that when I go in there. It's not, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking, a lot of us get sober or clean, but
We're still fucked
people
up.
don't keep doing the work. So they may not do the drugs and they may work the steps perfectly, but they don't go to the self-care side of things. They don't work on themselves, So it's like,
A lot of dry drunks.
I get it though. I was with you. I was getting annoyed and like, when is this gonna end? Bro?
Yeah, we were ready to run out.
I mean, this poor guy. Like, this guy's old as fuck too. Like, he probably has no fucking.
Yeah, there's no life.
No one ever talks to him.
Yeah.
So,
He
but like,
couldn't wait to ask questions.
he's like, I don't want to. I'm not gonna share for too long because I don't want to. I want to hear what you guys have to say, brother. 7:57, he stops off.
Yep.
And we still had to do chips and everything else. Like, my man roasted the
It was
room,
bad,
bro.
It was bad.
But I don't know.
They used to be my favorite meeting too.
Yeah, he was all hyping it up.
Yeah, you've been 7 o'clock. CA meeting at Crossroads back in the day was unbelievable.
I'd rather go to a 7:00 meeting at Gun Club before I go to 7:00 CA Crossroads.
That's what it was, too. You're absolutely right.
It used to be so fire, bro. It ain't no more.
I guarantee they all
It
have
ain't
been
no
to that
more.
club.
What about the one share we did get though? So I'm in PHP and I'm mad at my therapist, and I'm like, no way is that the only share we're getting tonight. Like, you're supposed to do that at the treatment center,
Nah, man, why not? Why?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Listen, we're
Let that guy, cause you know what? I'll never go back to that meeting. I'm in PHP. I don't know shit, bro. I'm in treatment. I don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to act.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
say get in the room and raise your hand.
Yeah.
I'm taking a shot.
Check me.
I'm taking a shot. Yeah, I'm here. I can't. This is all I got.
Yeah.
I can't complain about in treatment. This is what's going on with me, right? I'm in PHP, which means I probably have somewhere between 15 and 45 days clean.
Correct.
Which means I'm completely insane, right? I'm barely undope sick. You know what I'm saying? So give that man, let that man talk, man.
I take that back.
Let him do his crazy
I take
shit.
that back. You're right.
You know?
Mm-hmm. I've always looked at it from just a judgmental thing, It's like sitting in those rooms and having time and just having people just bitch about being in treatment. Like, yo, dude, shut up.
But
like,
you got to think about the
they're
courage
there for
it
them
takes
too. Yeah,
to
it's
raise
not
your
just
hand.
about
I don't
me.
know nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There you go. That's an ego check right there, bro.
I don't know nothing, but you said share. So this is what I got. I mean, what can I can't tell you about my kids. I'm in PHP.
This is what I have to offer.
This is what I got going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So a guy in that type of situation, right? And I think we can agree, because we've all been in that situation, right? So maybe in his PHP, there could be some type of ego, right? And self-importance, right? That's inflated.
Okay.
But when you're in treatment like that, you're in PHP and you're going to a meeting, at least for me, one, it's almost intimidating, right? Because you got all these normal people out, and I'm like the guy in treatment here, right? So it's very hard. So that guy, it's hard for, I believe it would be hard for him to have a sense of ego in that scenario, because there's so many people that are like at a better stage in life per se, right, than me. don't, you know, I never felt really a sense of ego as the newcomer in the room, right? You could do that a bunch of other newcomers. It's easy for me, you know, oh, I was a Marine. Well, this guy was,
Right.
you know, was a
Yeah,
schoolboy.
yeah,
You're going to
yeah,
tell me.
yeah.
But in a scenario where I'm trying to get my life together and I'm around people that kind of, from my perception, have their life together, it's very easy to deflate my ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I said, that statement is kind of a, you know, I think a lost statement. And you see the ego is in, you know, let me show my magnificence in the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys.
Because-
Cool. You got anything else to say?
No, man, it was good.
Yeah, it was
fun.
really
good
good.
to be back.
Thanks for filling in today.
Absolutely.
You know, we had
Just fodder. Just
that's
here.
it. Fodder.
Here, you know.
I'm gonna change your name.
Yeah.
Alex Fodder. Yeah, no, this was good though, man. You know, just chopping it up. It's doing a little something different. You know, usually we're asking the questions, but it's nice to, you know, be able to talk, me and you, and kind of just,
Yeah.
you know, a little bit of experience.
Hey,
and
share
stuff.
this shit, man. If you see
Yes,
it,
that's
on
what I was
any-
gonna do.
on
Because-
any-
into
nah,
it,
bro, it's
bro.
way too
On
long a
any-
preamble.
Hey,
Handle that.
We wanna
just
get
got
this message
shot.
out. We want people to ask questions. Like, I don't care if you hate us. I know I make weird movements in my mouth. Comment on that shit. Put it all on there, man. We want to grow. We want to like do better, and we want to like make
Absolutely.
this thing pop. So
Yeah.
help us out.
Get involved.
Yeah, man. Give us a subscribe, give us a share, tell your friend, tell your mother's friend, tell your mom, watch us, you know, give us the support so we can get the message out. You got a topic, something you want us to talk about, feel free to comment. You know, look, we were just three guys here having a conversation today, so
Yeah.
we got plenty of room to take feedback.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe,
Yeah.
YouTube, Facebook, anywhere podcasts, you can find them. We're on there.
Yep.
That's it. You want to take us out?
Repost, you know,
Repost.
repost our content. But
you
Take
know,
us out,
yeah.
take us out, take us out.
refurbish.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Take us
got
out.
things to do. Let's go, bro.
All right, that's it. We're out. Thank you guys again for watching. Tune in next week, and
Still drawing.
that's a wrap. Oh, boom. Yeah, well, I figured.
bro.
No, listen.
I was about to literally do the same thing.
I didn't want it to just
bro,
cut.
that was a lot of preamble.
You know what I was saying? Like that was
a whole lot of
trying to, like, you know, like finish off the conversation.